Take a moment to picture a vibrant country from decades past, a place where children laughed in lively markets and lush landscapes painted a picture of prosperity. Now, imagine returning to that same place today. The cheerful sounds have faded, replaced by the eerie silence of empty streets and crumbling buildings. What happened? It's a heartbreaking transformation that many nations have faced, shifting from flourishing to struggling. Join me as we explore 10 countries that have experienced this dramatic fall from grace, uncovering the stories of loss and the reasons behind their decline. But wait, before we dive fully into this, take 2 seconds and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out on our future amazing content. And hit the like button. 10 countries that are dead forever. 1. Iraq. Iraq's tale is one of contrasts, where prosperity once thrived amidst a rich tapestry of culture and history. Picture the vibrant streets of Baghdad in the 1970s, where the hum of lively conversations filled the air. Elegant shops showcased intricate crafts, while families gathered for picnics along the banks of the Tigris River, savoring traditional dishes and sharing laughter. Children played joyfully in bustling parks, their laughter mingling with the sounds of street vendors, selling sweet pastries and fragrant spices. Iraq boasted a robust education system, with universities attracting students from around the region, and hospitals renowned for their advanced medical care. However, this golden era came crashing down with the shadow of Saddam Hussein's regime. The Iran-Iraq War erupted, tearing families apart and draining the nation's coffers. The once bustling streets grew quiet, filled with uncertainty and fear. Imagine walking through a city where the echoes of laughter were replaced by the distant sounds of explosions and gunfire. The Gulf War compounded the suffering, and as resources dwindled, survival became the primary concern for many. The U.S. invasion in 2003 marked a new chapter, but instead of liberation, it unleashed chaos. Sectarian violence tore through communities, fracturing the very fabric of society. Families who once shared meals together now found themselves on opposing sides of a bitter divide. The rise of ISIS was another devastating blow, plunging millions into despair as homes were destroyed and lives were uprooted. Today, Iraq is a country trying to piece itself back together. While there are signs of rebuilding, new markets, schools, and hospitals emerging, ghosts of the past linger in every corner. People walk through the remnants of their former lives, struggling to find a path to a peaceful future amidst the scars of war. 2. Afghanistan. Afghanistan, a land of breathtaking beauty with its rugged mountains and lush valleys, was once a tapestry of vibrant culture and harmony. Imagine the bustling streets of Kabul, alive with the scent of spices and the sounds of laughter. Cafes brimmed with life as music played softly, and children ran freely in the gardens, their faces alight with joy. For many, life was simple yet fulfilling, filled with hope for the future. But this idyllic existence was shattered in 1979 with the Soviet invasion, igniting a series of conflicts that would devastate the nation. As the war dragged on, families were torn apart, and the delicate threads of Afghan society began to unravel. The 1990s brought further turmoil, as civil war turned neighborhoods into battlegrounds and displaced millions. Amidst this chaos, the Taliban emerged, promising stability but delivering oppression. Women were barred from schools and work, and a once flourishing society fell silent under the weight of fear. For a brief moment after the U.S. invasion in 2001, a glimmer of hope appeared. Schools reopened, and girls returned to classrooms, their futures looking brighter. But the return of the Taliban in 2021 dashed these dreams. The joy of learning turned to despair as rights were stripped away. The economy, once buoyed by international support, crumbled, leaving families to fend for themselves amidst soaring prices and food shortages. Today, Afghanistan stands at a crossroads, where survival is a daily battle. The dreams of a prosperous future are buried deep beneath the rubble of conflict, but the spirit of its people, resilient and determined, continues to shine through the darkness. 3. Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe, known as the breadbasket of Africa, was once a flourishing land where fertile fields sprawled across the countryside. Picture vast expanses of golden maize swaying in the breeze, farmers singing songs of hope as they harvested crops that would feed the nation and beyond. Markets were vibrant with colorful produce, and life brimmed with promise and potential. In the 1980s and early 1990s, Zimbabweans lived with optimism, buoyed by a burgeoning economy and accessible healthcare and education. However, the winds of change brought turmoil. When Robert Mugabe's land reform policies took a drastic turn in the 2000s, the agricultural backbone of the economy collapsed. Farms were seized, and the once thriving agricultural sector was devastated. Imagine walking through empty fields that had once been alive with activity, now silent and overgrown. Hyperinflation soon followed, with money losing its value faster than anyone could imagine. People were forced to wheelbarrow stacks of cash to the market, only to find that their money could barely buy a loaf of bread. Starvation and unemployment became the harsh realities for many. Families who once enjoyed a comfortable life found themselves scavenging for food, grappling with a healthcare system that crumbled under pressure. The hopes and dreams of a generation were dashed as uncertainty and despair took hold. Though Zimbabwe has made strides toward recovery, the shadows of its past still loom large. Millions continue to navigate a landscape marked by poverty and hardship, yearning for the day when they can reclaim the dream of a prosperous Zimbabwe, where fields are once again full of life and communities thrive in unity and abundance. 4. Democratic Republic of the Congo, DRC. The Democratic Republic of the Congo, often referred to as the DRC, is a land where nature flourishes with breathtaking beauty. Imagine dense rainforests teeming with life, towering mountains wrapped in mist, and rivers that flow like silver ribbons through the landscape. It's a place where children should be laughing and playing under the vast African sky, where families thrive on the richness of the land, and communities work together to cultivate their gardens and share meals under the glow of the setting sun. But this dream stands in stark contrast to reality. Instead of being a paradise, the DRC's story has been marred by betrayal and exploitation. Picture the moment when the allure of its precious resources, cobalt, diamonds, and gold, caught the eye of leaders and foreign corporations. These entities descended upon the country like vultures, extracting wealth without regard for the people or the land. Instead of building schools and hospitals, they built their fortunes on the backs of the Congolese, who saw little benefit from the riches beneath their feet. Civil wars erupted, shattering the peace. Once vibrant villages became ghost towns, their inhabitants either fleeing into the unknown or becoming victims of violence. Children, robbed of their innocence, were forcibly recruited into militias, their laughter replaced by the sounds of gunfire. Families that once sat together around warm meals found themselves torn apart, struggling to survive in the harshest conditions. The lush forests, which should have nurtured life, became battlegrounds and hiding places, a curse rather than a blessing. Infrastructure deteriorated to a point where basic needs became luxuries. The roads that should have connected communities crumbled, making travel perilous. Access to healthcare became a distant dream for many. Families, driven by desperation, searched for food and medicine, only to find long lines and empty shelves. The rich land is now a stark reminder of unfulfilled potential. As they look around at the majestic beauty that surrounds them, the people of the DRC are left to wonder when, if ever, they will share in the wealth that their homeland should provide. 5. Libya. Libya, with its breathtaking Mediterranean coastline and ancient ruins, was once a symbol of promise and prosperity in Africa. Picture sun-drenched beaches where families spent their weekends, ancient Roman structures standing proudly against the azure sky, and bustling cities like Tripoli filled with laughter and the aromas of delicious Libyan dishes. Under the leadership of Muammar Gaddafi, Libya saw unprecedented development, with highways stretching across the country, hospitals offering free care, and universities opening their doors to eager students. In many ways, it was a paradise where Libyans enjoyed the fruits of their oil wealth. a time when families thrived in well-constructed homes and education was accessible to all. Imagine the pride of parents as they sent their children to school, hoping for a brighter future filled with opportunities. Libya was a nation on the rise, where dreams felt attainable. However, beneath this facade of stability lay a dark underbelly. Gaddafi's iron-fisted rule stifled dissent, and when the Arab Spring swept across the region in 2011, the people's longing for freedom erupted into chaos. The streets of Tripoli and Benghazi, once vibrant with life, transformed into war zones. As Gaddafi was overthrown, the hope of a new beginning quickly spiraled into civil war, tearing apart the very fabric of society. Today, Libya remains divided and fractured. Multiple factions vie for control, and the echoes of gunfire replace the laughter that once filled the air. Families live in fear, uncertain if they will wake to a new day or the sound of violence. The oil wealth that once promised prosperity has become a source of conflict, with communities fighting over resources rather than uniting for a common cause. Basic services like water and electricity are inconsistent, leaving many to navigate daily life without the essentials. Libyans who once dreamed of a bright future now grapple with the harsh reality of survival, longing for the days when their nation stood united and strong. 6. Syria. Syria, a land steeped in history and beauty, evokes images of ancient cities like Aleppo, where life once thrived. Imagine narrow, winding streets bustling with market vendors, the air thick with the scent of spices, and the sounds of children's laughter drifting from sunlit courtyards. Families gathered in vibrant cafes, sharing stories over cups of strong coffee, celebrating life amidst the backdrop of stunning architecture that had withstood the test of time. But in 2011, this picturesque scene was shattered by the arrival of war. The Arab Spring protests sparked a fire that engulfed the nation, igniting a brutal conflict that would change everything. Cities like Aleppo, once vibrant and alive, were reduced to ruins. Buildings that had stood for centuries crumbled, and the lively streets transformed into silent graveyards. Families were torn apart, forced to flee their homes, leaving behind everything they had known and loved. The war didn't just destroy physical structures, it obliterated dreams and hopes. Children who once played freely now lived in makeshift tents, their innocence replaced by the harsh realities of survival. Millions became refugees, scattered across the globe, each carrying the weight of their shattered lives. The war transformed a nation rich in culture and heritage into a place where fear and uncertainty reign. As the fighting rages on, Syria remains a haunting echo of what was. The scars of war are visible in every corner, from the rubble-strewn streets to the hollow eyes of those who have lost so much. Yet, amidst this devastation, the spirit of the Syrian people endures. They long for peace, for the chance to return to a homeland where laughter and joy can once again flourish. The dream of rebuilding their lives and reclaiming their country remains a flicker of hope in a landscape marred by loss, a testament to their resilience and unyielding spirit. Oh, and by the way, I know you're liking this video already. Go ahead right now and show me some love by hitting the like button. Done. Alright, let's continue. 7. Venezuela. Venezuela's narrative is a tragic tale of potential squandered. Picture a time when this South American nation was truly the jewel of the continent, its streets alive with the vibrant rhythms of music, laughter, and bustling markets. In the capital, Caracas, the sun would shine down on families enjoying weekends at stunning beaches, with warm waves lapping at their feet, or hiking through lush national parks, where the air was thick with the scent of blooming flowers. For many, life felt like a dream within reach, filled with aspirations of progress and prosperity. But then, like a storm brewing on the horizon, everything began to unravel in the late 1990s. Imagine waking up one morning, heart heavy, to find your life savings had vanished into thin air, reduced to nothing by rampant inflation. Basic necessities, once taken for granted, had become elusive luxuries. Families stood in lines for hours under the blistering sun, just to buy a small carton of milk or a loaf of bread. The hospitals, once bastions of care and healing, became hollow shells, their shelves stripped bare of medicine. Children who had once thrived in comfort now scavenged through garbage, searching for remnants of food. The cities that were once alive with chatter now echoed with the desperation of those trying to survive in neighborhoods overrun by crime and hopelessness. Every day was a struggle against the tide of despair. Today, while flickers of hope persist amid the ruins, many Venezuelans are still trapped in a heartbreaking existence, yearning for the days when dreams felt attainable and life was filled with promise. 8. Yemen. Yemen, a land steeped in history and beauty, was once a canvas of breathtaking landscapes and rich cultural heritage. Imagine walking through the ancient city of Sana'a, with its intricately designed buildings that seemed to touch the sky, the aroma of spices wafting through the air, and the rhythmic call to prayer resonating over the hills. Families gathered for joyous celebrations, their laughter mingling with the sounds of children playing, of community bound by tradition and shared stories. But this paradise has been turned upside down by relentless conflict. The war that erupted in 2015 has brought unimaginable suffering to its people. Picture the chaos of once thriving streets now transformed into war zones, where families live under the constant shadow of airstrikes, their hearts pounding with fear. Mothers trek for miles through rubble and debris, desperately seeking clean water for their thirsty children, their faces etched with worry. Fathers, who once provided effortlessly, now scavenge for scraps to keep their families alive in a land where famine and disease reign supreme. Children, who should be filled with dreams of the future, find themselves trapped in a grim reality of malnutrition and trauma, forced to grow up far too quickly. The blockade has left the nation in tatters, and the humanitarian crisis looms large, with everyday survival becoming a battle. Yet, amid the despair, the resilient spirit of Yemenis flickers like a candle in the dark, a testament to their hope and tenacity, even when it feels like hope is a whisper drowned out by despair. 9. Somalia. Somalia, with its breathtaking coastline and a rich tapestry of cultural history, was once a land of nomadic pride and maritime glory. Envision endless beaches where fishermen cast their nets into azure waters, the scent of freshly caught fish mingling with the spices wafting through bustling markets. In the open plains, herders sang songs to their camels under the vast African sky, while stories of old were shared around warm fires, binding families and communities in a shared legacy of resilience and pride. But tragedy struck in the 1990s, tearing apart this vibrant society. Civil war erupted, leaving chaos in its wake, and the central government collapsing like a fragile house of cards. Imagine a community that once thrived now reduced to one of violence and lawlessness, with warlords reigning over a land steeped in bloodshed. The piracy that began to plague its coasts, and the ever-looming threat of militant groups like Al-Shabaab turned Somalia into a landscape of fear and uncertainty. Families who once lived in harmony now find themselves huddled in overcrowded camps, fleeing violence and famine. The picturesque beaches now bear witness to desperate souls seeking refuge, while the scent of spices is overshadowed by the bitter aroma of loss. Despite the scars of war, glimmers of hope persist. There are efforts to rebuild and restore peace. Yet, the path forward remains fraught with challenges, and survival is a daily struggle for many. The resilient spirit of the Somali people endures, holding on to their rich heritage, while striving for a brighter future. 10. Haiti. Haiti's story is one of unyielding resilience in the face of relentless adversity. Once, this Caribbean paradise was alive with the sounds of music, laughter, and vibrant celebrations that filled the air with joy. Picture the lush hillsides teeming with life, where turquoise waters lured travelers from far and wide, and locals reveled in colorful festivals that honored their rich history and traditions. Haiti was a place that radiated warmth and spirit, embodying the essence of community and hope. But this vibrant land has faced catastrophic trials. The devastating earthquake of 2010 struck like a thief in the night, leaving behind a landscape of ruins and heartache. Imagine waking up to the destruction of your home, the loss of loved ones, and the shattering realization that you must start anew in a place where survival was already a struggle. The years following the quake brought further calamities. Hurricanes swept through, political corruption festered, and economic struggles deepened, leaving many feeling as though hope had vanished. The streets, once alive with laughter, have become arenas of protest, where cries for change ring out amidst the rubble. Yet, even in the darkest moments, the Haitian people continue to fight for a better future. They cling to their music, their culture, and their indomitable spirit, refusing to let their dreams be extinguished. Despite the weight of their challenges, the hearts of the Haitian people beat strong, echoing the resilience of a nation that refuses to be defined by its struggles. Let us have your thoughts in the comments section below. Thank you for joining us. If you found this information enlightening, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful content about cities and cultures from around the world.